استقيموا واستووا واعتدلوا يرحمنا وإياكم الله. اخشعوا في صلاتكم، صلوا صلاة ودع. استووا. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع، ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائما. قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة، والله خير الرازقين. الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا هل أدلكم على تجارة تنجيكم من عذاب أليم؟ تؤمنون بالله ورسوله وتجاهدون في سبيل الله بأموالكم وأنفسكم، ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون يغفر لكم ذنوبكم ويدخلكم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار ومساكن طيبة في جنات عدن ذلك الفوز العظيم وأخرى تحبونها نصر من الله وفتح قريب وبشر المؤمنين يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا أنصار الله يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا أنصار الله يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا أنصار الله كما قال عيسى بن مريم للحواريين من أنصاري إلى الله قال الحواريون نحن أنصار الله فآمنت طائفة من بني إسرائيل وكفرت طائفة فأيدنا الذين آمنوا على عدوهم فأصبحوا ظاهرين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان الله. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, we'll start at 8 p.m. My humble request is if you are planning to pray your sunnah right now, if you can go to that side of the hall. And I don't want to come in between of anybody praying, but we can start the preparations here, and you can continue your sunnah on that side, inshallah. Testing. Testing. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. May I request everyone to come closer to me now for the meeting to start, inshallah. Ahmad Zia, are you here in the hall? Ahmad Zia. Ahmad Zia. Ahmad Zia is not here. Ahmad Zia. Saad, where is Sheikh Salah? Sheikh Salah. Can you get Sheikh Salah, please? Sheikh Salah. Oh, he left. Sorry. I'll announce it when we do it. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Inshallah, we are going to start the meeting. I just want to remind everyone that we do not have any items to vote for in the meeting today. So a quorum is not required for this general body meeting. This is just informational meeting about everything that went on in the masjid during the last 1 year. And the agenda for today is that inshallah we are going to recite, he's going to recite a few verses from Quran. Then we are going to introduce the Shura, our religious leadership team. We are going to have committee updates, financial update, and the construction update. And then at the end, you will get the chance to ask the questions, and we are going to respond to anything that you have. Requesting him to recite a few verses, inshallah.
والنازعات غرقا والناشطات نشطا والسابحات سبحا فالسابقات سبقا فالمدبرات أمرا يوم قلوب يومئذ واجفة أبصارها خاشعة يقولون إنا لمردودون بالحافرة إذا كنا عظاما نخرة قالوا تلك إذا كرة خاسرة فإنما هي زجرة واحدة فإذا هم بالساهرة هل أتاك حديث موسى إذ ناداه ربه بالوادي المقدس طوى اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى فقل هل لك إلى أن تزكى وأهديك إلى ربك فتخشى وأراه الآية الكبرى فكذب وعصى ثم أدبر يسعى فحشر فنادى فقال أنا ربكم الأعلى فأخذه الله نكال الآخرة والأولى صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you. We are going to first start with introducing the team that got elected late last year in November 2021, and they took over actively from January 1st this year and have been leading the various committees and programs at the masjid. Brother Saad Siddiqui, who is our General Secretary, Brother Tamim Ansari, who is our Treasurer, and then the rest of the Shura members. There are two Shura members tonight that couldn't make it, Brother Yahya Hamad and Brother Muhammad Sabri. So they couldn't make it tonight, but I would like to introduce from the far right from me, not the far right in this country, but Brother Arif Faizan, Brother Fahad Mahiuddin, Brother Mahmoud Ali, Brother Nasir Khan. MashaAllah, this team has been doing a great job this year and has been spearheading various committees that we formed this year and have been producing amazing programs in the masjid. Apart from that, obviously the heart and soul of our masjid is our religious leadership team. Every masjid is nothing without the presence of our scholars here. And mashallah, you are all familiar with most of the names, but I would still like to recognize them. Our Imam Salah Mahmood, mashallah, this is he has completed his 3 years in this masjid and has been doing a great job. Sheikh Mubin Kamani, he mashallah completed his 5 years in this masjid this year. He is our youth director and he has done an amazing job in bringing the youth to the masjid. He is instrumental in forming a youth council that runs and executes their own programs. Literally we have empowered the youth under his leadership and done an amazing job. So we are very grateful for Sheikh Mubin Kamani to be part of our masjid. Qari Huzaifa Siddiqui came on board in 2020 and he took over the Quran Academy here, which basically is doing full-time hifz, part-time hifz. They're also doing the Quran reading program. And along with him, Alima Sadaf Kamani has been doing a great job with basically running a girls' full-time and part-time hifz program. And in the last 2 years, this program has grown tremendously. I remember the time when in my first term in 2019 and 2018, we used to have 7 kids in full-time hifz program and probably 10 or 11 kids in the part-time hifz program. And then I see Kashif Bhai sitting here, mashallah, under his leadership in 2020, we brought Qari Huzaifa on board. And the program has really flourished under his leadership and under Alima Sadaf Kamani. We now have 26 full-time hifz students, boys and girls, and a lot more part-time hifz, and our Quran reading program has also grown. So, mashallah, they're doing a wonderful job. Takbir. Jazakallah khair. Now, this year we reorganized some committees and we formed some new committees, and that's what you see here. There was a youth council. We also added a youth committee along with it. Youth council, as I said, is run by the youth themselves. But we also added a youth committee that is run by the adults, that is augmenting the work that our youth are doing, and they are churning out different kinds of programs to help out. We also reorganized our sisters committee that has been doing an amazing job this year, lots and lots of programs. We formed a full-time marketing committee, which consists of more than 12 people. They have done wonders here at the masjid. They've churned out so much content here, and they have organized our social media. Our flyers have improved significantly, and I cannot be more thankful for the marketing team to be there and doing an amazing job. Our finance area has been reorganized as well under Brother Tamim, and he has implemented some great new processes that are going to be great for the long-term health for the masjid, especially bringing everything under QuickBooks, making sure that everything is audit ready 2022 onwards. So I'm really, really appreciative of the work that Tamim has done as the treasurer. So lots of committees. There was civics committee that was formed, and we're going to cover some of the things that they have done as we progress. As I said, the Quran Academy has 13 boys and 13 girls in the full-time Hifz program. And the part-time program has 11 boys and 6 girls at the moment. And then our Quran reading program has more than 100 kids running. One thing that, again, I really appreciate that the previous Shura put in place under Kashif Bhai's leadership was to correct the ratio of teacher to students in the Quran reading program. We used to have like 13, 14 kids sitting in a class, and they were not really learning properly the Quran and the tajweed and how to read it. And the ratio was really improved. So it might seem like that there are 100 plus kids. We used to have 150, 160. But what we are trying to do is keep the ratio at 6:1 or 7:1 at the most, which means that we have to get more teachers in. So there is a little bit of challenge there in that program, that we're looking for more Quran teachers so that we can learn this program more effectively and we can increase the enrollment. And finding good teachers is always a little bit of challenge. So, but we are trying our best. At the moment, there are 12 part-time teachers, contractors that are working in that area. Our Sunday school continues to flourish, but this year we did something new. The academic year that started in August, now we have 2 shifts running in Sunday school. There is a shift in the morning, 9, not 9, I think it's 10 to 11:30. 9? 9 to, somebody is saying something. 9, I'm sorry, I'm blanking out. 9 to 10:50, 11. And then there is a second shift that runs at 11:30, 11:45 and finishes at Zohar time. And due to 2 shifts now, we are able to accommodate 444 students in the Sunday school. Until the last academic year, we only had, I think, at the most 300 at any given point in time. So now we have increased it to 444. But that really means that, mashallah, we have to appreciate our community. I mean, the most amazing part of our community is the volunteering spirit. All of the teachers in Sunday school, all of the admin staff, they are all volunteers. To accommodate that many students and run 2 shifts requires a lot more teachers and a lot more volunteers. And alhamdulillah, community has stepped forward. And not just in Sunday school, that all the new committees that formed were filled by volunteers that stepped up, mashallah. So we are really blessed in this community. And I hear this feedback when I talk to other communities, other masajid. They are in awe of the level of volunteer spirit that we have in our community. They struggle with finding volunteers to run the program. So this is really the most proud thing about our community. We continue to offer the education for students with special needs under the Mohsin program. We have 18 students that are there in the special needs program. 20 teachers, assistants that are handling those students with special needs. And as you know, most of these students require one-on-one support. So these teachers, assistants, really motivated volunteers again that are coming in and working hard every Sunday and making sure that we are handling these. We have more than 28 teachers, about 7+ administrative staff, and then we have teachers assisting at the regular Sunday school as well, assisting the teachers in doing an amazing job. And I already said that this is all volunteer-run school, so that's just amazing. Then the other education program that we have is the Safa Seminary under the leadership of Sheikh Mubin and Imam Salah. And this year, we added another facet to it. First of all, I want to recognize the fact that the Safa administrative team was reorganized. Brother Nasir was leading the effort under the leadership of Brother Kamran Hussain, who is sitting here, Sister Arifa, and Sister Samia. And they have done a great job of making sure that it's more structured, we are more responsive, we are establishing policies and procedures within the Safa Seminary. So they've done an amazing job from that respect. Brother Kamran Hussain is here, please. And the other thing that we have changed in the Safa Seminary this year is we have started inviting paid visiting instructors, so that it's just not Sheikh Mubin teaching in the program, but we are also bringing different flavors in, and we will continue to increase that in the next academic year, where we're going to bring more scholars, inshallah, to teach in the Safa Seminary. And at this point, more than 200 students in middle and high school Safa Seminary are enrolled. And every day you come here, after Asr, there is a hustle and bustle of youth in the masjid with Safa Seminary students here, and that's such a beautiful sight, mashallah. I'm not going to go into the details of the courses. One thing I do want to add at this point is that under the leadership of Sheikh Salah, Safa Seminary is starting a 2-year adult program. We are going to launch it. I'm not going to take the thunder away from when Imam Salah announces it, and it's under the leadership of Kamran Bhai and Saad Riazuddin. Brother Saad Riazuddin is our youth here serving the masjid for a long time, so they are working on it. It's going to be a separate umbrella, and it's an amazing 2-year program that is going to provide intense Islamic education training for the adults at a schedule that allows people to be able to attend. So I'm sure the community is going to really enjoy that and benefit from it. Again, going in the same vein of the youth programs, other than Safa, we continue to have throughout the year various youth programs. Youth Council. The focus of the Youth Council is to do programs run by youth that are a little bit of fun, a little bit of spiritual enrichment. So they are learning about Deen in fun ways. And they organize it themselves: Deen and Donuts, Bonfire and Burgers, Timeless Traditions, Sisters Sohbah program. There's various different programs that go throughout the year. And then, as I said, this year we formed a youth committee. The youth committee consists of adults, and it's led by Brother Mubin Ahmed. I don't know if he's in the hall right now. Brother Mubin Ahmed chairs this committee, and they really put out very nice programs: mental health awareness workshop, museum trips, some IT trainings, like for example related to cloud technology. So they are more focused on the career path of the youth. They're more focused on skill development of the youth. And the Youth Council is focused on the Deen side and fun side of the things. So they are complementing each other in the way they are functioning, mashallah. Another thing this year that we completely revamped was our summer camp. It was a 2-week summer camp that we did this year that was split out into 3 weeks in June and July. And it consisted of educational activities. It consisted of activities that would help the students learn about the Deen. And the most exciting part of this summer camp was that it was run by camp counselors that were youth. So this whole summer camp was run by youth, and was the administrative staff was adults in there who were monitoring the camp. And it was based on the concept of big brother, big sister, teaching the younger brothers and younger sisters. So we were trying to form a bond between our adult youth and the younger youth, and they were learning from each other during the camp. The camp counselors were all paid so that they continue to stay motivated and committed, and it was a way for them to have a summer job in masjid. So they are attached to the masjid, they are coming here, they are working, and they are teaching the younger kids about deen and about other stuff, STEM activities, artwork, crafts, fitness. We did field trips. More than 400 kids attended the summer camp this year, which was the largest number in this masjid. So I would say we are very excited about the fact that it was run by camp counselors. There were some issues that we need to get better on in the summer camp. Obviously, this was our first time organizing the summer camp in this format. So we are going to learn from it, and inshallah, we are going to provide even a better experience next year, inshallah. If I'm going too fast, don't worry. First of all these slides will be available on the website. Tamim, am I right? Inshallah. So you can go back later and go through this content. And at the end, there is going to be a question-answer session, so you can speak your heart out and ask whatever you like to. Our Sisters Committee this year was, again, just like other committees, reorganized. And it was led by Sister Zainab. I don't know if she is around. She has done wonders with this committee and her team. Really appreciate the efforts. They churned out a lot of programs all throughout the year. Some of them are listed here: fitness classes, welcome Ramadan, Hina and Eid pop-ups, educational programs with Sheikh Salah, self-defense class, desserts around the world. I'm sure you all saw that and enjoyed all the desserts that were outside right before the fundraiser. Domestic violence awareness, a difficult topic, but they navigated it extremely well and brought really good speakers here at the masjid. We launched the first matrimonial program at the masjid under the partnership of Connect, and that was very successful actually. The youngsters really found it useful, and I hope inshallah khair comes out of that program. We did a new residence program, we just did the chai and picnic, and I mean so many different programs that the sister committee did throughout the year. But one thing we learned while doing the Sisters Committee program is that there are many programs that they have done that were family oriented, but they identify a need in the community of having a social committee as such, which can bring us all together doing some fun and extracurricular, especially the brothers' side. Sisters do a lot of their programs, mashallah, and they try to pull in whole families also. But I think we can benefit from a committee that is solely focused on social activities and on brothers. So keeping that in mind, we have already put in motion formation of the committee, and you will soon hear about that. And under that committee, we will do a lot of extracurricular activities for the brothers and for the families, inshallah, in the coming year. Sheikh Salah is very passionate about that as well. I mean, I'm sure you are all seeing on his social media feed his passion for soccer and ping pong. And he's smoking everybody in DFW right now. So. Sorry, Kashif bhai, you're saying something? Smoking. He's not smoking. I mean, no. Kashif bhai, his usual naughty self, mashallah. So, inshallah, you will hear about that soon. As I said, marketing committee, which was under the leadership of Brother Yahya and Rafia Munir here, she's here, mashallah. As the chair of that committee, she has done an amazing job of organizing her team. I wanted you to just absorb this slide for a moment. She has lead chairperson herself, her vice chair sitting in the back, who is pretty much trying to step up and take more active part as the chair of the committee, Brother Adil Khan. Big hand for this guy, such a hardworking person, mashallah. He's everywhere, literally. And Imran is sitting there, he's smiling. Brother Imran is, I can call him the de facto Amir of ICPC, Islamic Center of Prosper and Salina. He's, mashallah, trying to launch a musalla there. And Adil is from Prosper, so we play tug of war with Adil, with ICPC people. We want to keep him here and he wants to take him there. They have graphic designing team, photography team, newsletter, social media, and you see some of these people very active during the events. Sister Mariam Batla, you see her taking pictures during the events. And Brother Atif, where are you? Brother Atif? Brother Atif sitting right there. MashaAllah, he's our drone expert also. All the nice drone videos you see is done by Brother Atif. And being the marketing committee, they work with every committee in the masjid. We really annoy them, and they annoy us too. So we fight and we work. It's because there's a lot of coordination that goes on. They have designed this year more than 320 flyers, 100 plus videos that they have edited and published, 70 plus different graphic elements for marketing promotions, and 100 plus print and social media posts that they have generated. So big impact on the social media side from our marketing team. And as you can see, our Facebook has grown by more than 12,000 people, more than 12,000 likes. And our Instagram audience went by about 1,000 people. So, and the interaction on the social media with watching our videos and all of that has grown by 138% over the last 1 year. So whatever marketing is doing, they're doing something right because it's really working nicely, mashallah. Another service-oriented team, just like marketing is our technical services. Brother Tamim, apart from his treasury duty, leads that team. But I have to call out Brother Abdullah Haq here. Brother Abdullah, please stand up. Takbir for him. Takbir. This guy, despite, excuse me, I mean, he's so busy in his studies, but he's still available to do the work for the masjid. I mean, he's getting so many blessings for it. But Brother Inam, we really appreciate that you allow us to use him in the masjid, and he spent so much time here, and he's still able to do everything else in his life. He's just a superman here at the masjid, mashallah. Doing an amazing job in the IT area. He's the chairperson of the IT committee. Under his leadership, we did the refurbishment of all the security cameras here. Many of them were not working. So now, alhamdulillah, they are all working. Some of them were replaced with newer models for better picture quality. We also improved on the facility access, all the locks that were commonly used locks, but we had like keys that were like everywhere. So we secured those rooms with smart locks. And apart from that, we are working on improving our audio system. We have some issues that we are trying to fix in our audio system. Inshallah, before Ramadan, we will be able to complete that. You see these projectors in the hall. These were installed by our IT team, mashallah. We are also going through, I think I missed this out on the slide, so I'm going to cover it right now. We are going through donation system change. So we are going to get rid of Mohid, and we are going towards a new donation system called Medina Apps. It's happening under the leadership of Brother Tamim in finance, and our IT team is helping him out. And we hope to have a more seamless donation platform for the community. And one of the examples I can give you, one of the improvements you are going to see with this system is that you pick up your phone, you say donate 20, and the donation is done. Text message. That's it. It's as simple as that. So we're going to make it very easy, very seamless. And their mobile platform, their membership platform, so many features are so good. The new timing clock that you see here on the TV screen is from the new donation system. So there are going to be many enhancements that are going to come with the new Medina Apps donation system. inshallah, and community will benefit from it. You will have a better view into the donations you gave. You will be able to log in, update your credit card information yourself instead of calling in the office. Many enhancements in there. So our IT team is working on that. We hope to take it live by January 1st, inshallah, 2023. For the most part, it will be a seamless transition. We are moving all the donor data over to the new system, inshallah. And I mean, there were so many other upgrades. I'm not going to go into the details. I will let you read it. But IT team has been busy this year. From website updates to infrastructure update to asset management, so many things have happened. Something again that I did not cover in the beginning, and in asset management and some of this stuff, I want to recognize two people here, other than our IT team. Brother Brandon, under him, the operations area has been organized a lot. And thank you to Brother Kashif and his team for bringing him on board. I think there was some resistance from the community that why are we adding this extra expense. I can tell you personally, it's money well spent. He has done wonders here sitting in the office and does an amazing job. And then Brother Ahmad, who continues to be a great asset for the community. He's like family to all of us. He's here for anything and everything in the masjid. And we really appreciate his hard work here that he does day in and day out. I mean, without him, the masjid is not going to be the same. So. And by the way, one more thing that IT team implemented this year, which is very useful, it's something that community doesn't see, but the internal workings of the Shura has really improved in that, which is the ticketing system. Everything, every request, every work goes in a queue. And there is a ticketing system and it is tracked and all the decisions are logged in the ticket, and it's extremely helpful. Another area, mashallah, that continues to serve the community under the leadership of Dr. Noman, Brother Jamil, I saw him somewhere. Brother Jamil continues to spearhead all the volunteers there, mashallah. His, I think, they started in November 2015. So this is Jamil Bhai's 7th year associated with the clinic, volunteering every Sunday in and out for 7 years. That's amazing commitment, mashallah. Jamil Bhai, we really appreciate your efforts here. And Dr. Amreen Ashfaq, who went away for a little bit, but now she's back and she's actively running the clinic, mashallah. And she's one of our main doctors at this point, apart from Dr. Noman. And we really, really are thankful for the time that she gives every Sunday here at the masjid. And an amazing team of volunteers again in the clinic. Especially would like to recognize Danish, who is also now a long-term volunteer at the masjid and has been doing an amazing job. From the volunteers, youth volunteers in the clinic, Danish is providing the leadership at this point there for the group, mashallah. We really appreciate his efforts. And as you can see, we continue to see more than 600 patients. And those of you who are not aware of what the clinic does, the biggest help this clinic provides is to people who do not have insurance and their primary care needs, especially the immigrant parents that come here to see their kids. And if they have some high blood pressure issues or diabetes or other things, they need refill to their medicines. This is really, really a great area for them and help. Seniors committee, Brother Mahmood continues to run this committee, mashallah. But I also want to especially recognize Sister Humaira Ahmed and Brother Rajai Salah. They are fully committed to this program. Every week they come here, they make sure that the seniors are meeting and having a nice gathering where they do wellness programs, exercises, lectures. They recently went to Oklahoma for picnic. We rented a whole bus and they went together, barbecue. Kashif Bhai was there too. We like to just bucket him with the seniors now, so. So, I mean, they're having good time here. I would highly encourage all of you, if you have seniors at home that want to become part of this program, talk to Brother Mahmood or talk to Sister Humaira or Brother Rajai and come here and see the good time that they are having here, mashallah. And if I'm not wrong, Brother Mahmood, you're already planning to see if some kind of transportation service can be provided to the seniors. Because a lot of the times seniors want to come to the masjid, but they do not have the transport available. So Brother Mahmood is working on a plan to provide some kind of transportation. So we can bring them into the masjid and they can have some good time here and also benefit from the services in the masjid, inshallah. Civic engagement was a new committee formed this year. The focus of this committee was to create awareness in the community on the importance, first and foremost, the importance of voting. I mean, this is one area where our community really lacks. I mean, the other day I was talking to people and I was recalling that one of our Muslim brothers, I'm not going to take names, ran in 2017 for a city council position. And the total number of Muslims that came out to vote for him was 25. And our community has more than 2,500 registered voters, Muslim voters. So that's dismal. So we want to continue to use the civic committee to create more awareness about the importance of voting and why it is important for us to show us in numbers and tell the leaders, the leadership in city and the leadership at state level and national level that we exist and we should be heard. And the only way to do it is to vote. So they will continue to come after you guys to remind you of the importance of this. But apart from that, they did some Ramadan food drive. They brought some candidates here so that you can talk to them, ask them questions. Our traditional ICF gives thanks at the Thanksgiving time. And we ran a Get Out the Vote campaign this year. We put out some videos to remind everyone on why it is important to vote. So Civics Committee has been active. Inshallah, they will make more plans for the next year. I think, Saad Bhai, if I'm not wrong, some planning is already in the works for next year in the Civics Committee. Saad leads that committee, apart from his General Secretary duties. We also try to bring focus to the new Muslims area. As you all know, we have so many people that come here, take Shahada, and then we lose track of them. So we brought focus on this, and we have established a database of new Muslims, and we are actively making sure that we track them, and we put them through a pathway of education and connection to the masjid. So Sheikh Salah is now doing classes every Saturday for new Muslims. As soon as somebody takes the Shahada, he is registered, he is brought on board, and then Sheikh Salah starts their education process, and they are brought into the masjid so that they can stay connected and they don't just, we don't lose them after they take the Shahada. So New Muslim Committee is focusing on that. Brother Muhammad Sabri is not here tonight, but Brother Muhammad Sabri is leading that effort. And then our chair here, I know he was here tonight, Brother Khurram Zia. Okay, maybe he left. Brother Khurram Zia is the chairperson of this committee, and he is helping Sheikh Salah organize the programs. Oh, right there, Brother Khurram Zia. So those were all the different committee updates. Now, the money matters. Where are we on the money situation in the masjid? So starting with the operations of the masjid, what are our expenses? And I'm going to read here because it's closer to me. As you can see, the total annual expenses of the masjid is $1.37 million. And our full-time employees' payroll expense is $393,000. And we have 6 full-time employees at this point. But apart from that, we have many contract employees in the masjid. As I said, the Quran Academy is run by contractors. So there are many contract employees, and you see this biggest bar here, these are the contract payments. Now, let me just put the disclaimer out. This is not, the contract amount is not just the Quran Academy teachers, but it could also be our security guard, and it could also be our Brother Imad comes and help us out in various events, so they also get paid. Brother Hussein comes. We also have paid Safa teachers' assistants. We also paid our summer camp counselors. So all of that comes under the contractual obligations that we have. So this biggest 213,000 is that. The second largest bar is meals and entertainment, $166,000. Those are our family nights. Those are general body meeting, the dinners we enjoy, the Eid Carnival we do. So many programs, deserts around the world, things like that, they all go into meal and entertainment. And then we have 135,000 for rent and lease. And you might say, what are we renting and leasing? Brother Tamim, what are we renting and leasing? This is equipment that we, the copying machine. We have tents that we rented out in Ramadan. We had generator that we rented out in Ramadan. The lights during Ramadan. So these are, most of it is focused on Ramadan because you rent items and then they go back. So most of that expense is going in Ramadan. And that's why, if you remember this year, every week I was reminding people we need $50,000 per week because we had to cover all those obligations that we have for tent, for lights, for the tables and chairs for iftars. There's so many things that were going on. So that covers that. And I mean, we also support various organizations that are not zakat eligible. So we support them from our operations account. And that is about $50,000 that we gave out to other organizations as support. And this is mostly reciprocatory. They support us, we support them. So at the end of the day, it all balances out. And legal and professional services, I'm not going to go into too much detail of what that is, but I do want to be transparent to the community that for the last, I think, since this masjid has been made, masjid is in a lawsuit with the contractor of the masjid that built the initial masjid. That lawsuit still hasn't concluded. It continues to linger on, and this year it became active and it might go into a trial. So some of these expenses you are seeing are coming because of the trial expenses, the lawyer's expenses. But because it is in the court of law right now, I cannot share the details of the lawsuit. So that's pretty much the big expenses, and then there are some small things there in terms of expenses. But the big number to keep an eye on, $1.37 million is the total operations expense. Now, how much do we get in? So if you see, the total donations that we get is $1.6 million throughout the year. Let me be very clear, this does not include the construction donations. This is just operations donation. And you see a big spike, you see a big spike here, that's the month of Ramadan, where we get a spike in the number of donations. MashaAllah, everybody likes to get the ajr in Ramadan. I hope we can go to 600 this year on that, inshallah, the next Ramadan. But other than that, pretty much we average out around $150,000 a month. So looking at the expenses and looking at the incoming, we save about $200,000 to $250,000 a year on our operations. This is the number I would like you to hold on to, keep in mind when we move forward. What is our current situation? First of all, at the beginning of the year, I keep messing up this. At the beginning of the year, our balances were, the construction account was our biggest, $684,000. $568 in our operations, 140 in our education, and 162 in our zakat account. As you know, the zakat account actually goes up during Ramadan. Most of the zakat money comes during Ramadan. So the balance at the beginning of the year is not that big, but it just goes up to $300,000 or plus during Ramadan. As it stands today, our operations is at $751,000, and our construction has depleted to 135 for the obvious reasons, because we have built so much this year. Since January till now, by February 2023, we will have the dry building ready, so which means it's going to be weatherproof. So all of that money is already in the escrow, and that's why this account is so depleted. But let me tell you, everything for the dry building is not yet in escrow. So we are going to tap into this operations. We're going to use the rest of the 135, and we will see that in the next slide. So this is where we stand today. So the construction account is pretty thin right now, and half of the operations is going to disappear too in the construction in the next 3 months. So where do we stand on the construction at the moment? Walking you back into the history first. We started this project in 2019. That's when the Shura approved the project, and we engaged the architect, and city approvals and all that went on in 2019. Early 2020, I think when Kashif Bhai had just taken over, the foundation and slab was laid out. And then at that point, the project went on a long pause for the obvious reasons. COVID hit, and we were not getting donations, so we didn't have the money to continue the project, so the project went on a long pause. So early 2020 until February 2022 this year, pretty much nothing happened on the project. And then, but slowly and gradually, the account was building. So we resumed the project in the March of 2022. I'm sorry, I think I have made a mistake here. This is not 2020, this is March 2022. From the point where we started in March 2022, we went vertical, built the tin walls, we built the second floor, the roof, the elevator shafts. And where we are right now is that we need to make this building weatherproof, and that work is going on. But to make the building weatherproof, we need some material to arrive. For example, the aluminum storefront, all your windows and doors, the exterior ones, need to come before they are put in. So they are on order, we are waiting for them to come in. So it may feel like to some that maybe the project is on a pause. It is not. We're waiting on some material to arrive. And there are some city-related things that we are working on in terms of the irrigation meter. We didn't know there was a grease pan actually hidden in the floor, so that was removed in the last 2 weeks. The contractor discovered that. I don't know why grease pan was there in the ground. So when we started digging for the irrigation lines, that's when it just came out. So that is getting removed. And so there are things going on, and then as the material starts arriving to make the building weatherproof, they will start installing the windows and the doors. The next thing you will see happening very soon, like within the next 1 week, is that our existing building is going to be connected with the new building. So there is going to be some demolition that is going to take place. So those will be very exciting times. This door is probably going to open at that time, and the two buildings will be connected together. So that's going to start. It was supposed to start this week, did not because of weather-related issues. So it's going to probably start right after Christmas. I should say holidays, not Christmas in the masjid. I don't know. I don't want to get any fatwa on me, so. So that's where we stand now. This is just another visual in terms of where we are. So if you see, we are working on the weatherproof building, and we expect it to be finished by February 2023. Now that's a very important timeline. All of the money that we have right now, we are going to squeeze it, and we are going to pay for the weatherproof building, everything. And then in February 2023, we will be empty. We'll have no money to get to the next phase of the project. So that's something that I would want the community to completely understand, that in February onwards, we do not have money to start working on this project. This is the amount that we have spent so far. As you can see, 1.28 million on the foundation and slab, 1.14 on the steel package, the fire lane and site utilities, 637, the walls that went up, 1.31 million, the roofing, 231, and the rest of the dry building as 1 million. So if I do rough addition to these numbers, this is more than $5.5 million that we have spent so far to bring the building to this point. Now, what do we need to finish this building? Another $5 million. Another $5 million is required to finish this building. But prior to that, just keep in mind, our construction account at this point has $135,000. $135,000. We earlier this year took some loan from the community because we were running short of the money. We have cut the checks for that loan. So this is going to be paid off within the next 3 or 4 days. So we have to pay this off. And then the balance on the weatherproof building is $371K. All of this money is, whatever is on top of the construction account is going to come from the operations account. And that's why I was saying operations account at this point looks big, $758,000, but we are going to tap into it to pay for the remaining weatherproof building. So that's where we stand. Now, all the $5 million, the $5 million that are required to finish this building, all $5 million is not required now. All the payments are done in phases. So we need this over the next 2 years, not right now. But the first big chunk of money to keep this project on track is about $2 million in the month of February, so that we can purchase all the materials that are required to finish out the building, which electricals, electrical wires, your tiles, your stonework, your drywalls, your ductwork, and the biggest of all, your HVAC units that are going to go in there. So a lot of big ticket items that are coming up now. Now, looking at the history of our community, where is the $5 million going to come from? So we have to be realistic. On an average, we raise about $1.5 million outside of our operations for the construction every year. That's our average for our community. This year we raised 1.5 million, last year we raised 1.5 million, so on an average. So that means that in 2023, we can raise $1.5 million, and in 2024, we can raise $1.5 million, so that will bring $3 million in. That leaves us with a clear shortfall of $2 million. So there are two ways to look at this shortfall. We don't have money, we pause the project, we wait for Ramadan to come, whatever we can raise in Ramadan, whatever we can raise in our annual fundraiser in October next year, we take that, resume the project, but that would mean that the project is going to get delayed beyond 2024. There's no way to finish it in 2024. So it might go on into 2025, who knows, maybe 2026. So that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it is that we find some other funding sources to fund that gap of $2 million. And I have listed some of them down. And these are some of the things that Shura started working on, hasn't been actively pursuing yet because of various reasons, but we are working on now very, very actively on this. The foremost is getting Qarz-e Hasana from the community. So we are looking for some community members that are motivated to lend the money to the masjid that we can return in 3 years, maybe in 4 years, And we are actively talking to several donors. Let's continue to make dua that we find those sources of Qarz-e Hasana and we can continue on this project, inshallah. The other part, which was a little bit more difficult, but now it's back on track, was that we go to other masajid in a state and out of a state and raise funds. Other masajid, other institutions come to our masjid and raise funds. So we can go out and we can try to raise funds. And there is already something that Brother Arif and Brother Brandon are working on a list of masajid that are big masajid in United States. We did a test run in New York, so we sent Sheikh Salah out there. And alhamdulillah, it was, I think considering the size of the masjid he went to, it was a pretty successful trip. So we're going to add more trips, inshallah, to send people out and raise funds in other masajid. So that's another thing. We have been deferring the Launch Good campaign, but I think it's about time that we kick-start that. So it's going to start early next year, inshallah. The Launch Good campaign, we plan to take it international so we can collect whatever money we can through the Launch Good campaign. We are already working on reducing the operational costs. So you might be seeing some of the family nights we are doing, we're not serving food. We're trying to save every penny we can. And we are cutting all the corners to make sure, because it is extremely important that this project is done. And I'll tell you why. The 2024 is not like some random out of the thin air magical number that we need to finish it by 2024. I think we need to realize that our community is competing for funds with so many other projects at this point. We also need to realize that there is another masjid coming up in Frisco at 121 and at Lebanon and Independence. So ICQC has taken the land, and there's just going to be increased competition for funds. That's why the focus needs to be to finish this project as soon as possible. So we will. But Imran is far north. It's not. At the end of the day, we have to trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anybody that takes up a project on making the masjid, the funds come. So, but we also have to be practical and realistic that yes, there is going to be competition for funds. Now, the option of last resort for us, which we are already exploring, is getting a loan from an Islamic bank. Now, what does that take? Bank of Whittier is an Islamic bank that does the commercial loans, and they are ready to lend $2 million, but their ask is that find us people who can co-sign this loan, 5 people or 6 people at the most. Every person has to co-sign for anywhere between $333,000 to $400,000, co-sign for that. So we need community members that can step forward, that can co-sign this loan and help the masjid out. We have been reaching out to the community members actively. Brother Arif has been reaching out, I have been reaching out myself. We are trying our best if we can find co-signers for this loan. But if we can't co-signers for this loan, then pretty much we are left with only 2 options. Either we find Qarz-e Hasana from the community, or we put this project on pause. Whatever Allah has willed is going to happen. So, but we want to be fully transparent to the community. Where we stand today is, we are actively exploring Qarz-e Hasana from the community. I'm not going to say if I'm hopeful or not hopeful. You never know. Allah has His own mysterious ways of helping out. And inshallah, maybe Allah will help us out. We're talking to many people. Or we find 5 co-signers or 6 co-signers and we take the loan. So those are our funding sources. Otherwise, full disclosure, if we're not able to raise this money, possibly this project might go on pause in February, not for a long time, but for a short time. Hopefully in Ramadan, if we do fundraising, we can get a few things on track again. So that's where we stand in terms of the construction project. And that's the end of what I had to say. Now the floor is open for questions, and Rizwan Bhai has hand up already, so Rizwan Bhai, please. Rizwan Bhai is right here.
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I would like to thank all of you guys for doing an amazing job. I know what it takes to run the masjid because I've been there. And thanks to Azfar and the whole team. You guys have done an amazing job, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you guys for what you've been doing. Ameen.
Ameen.
Now, Brother Azfar, I'm sure you know the history. During the time when we were managing the masjid, we were in a worse situation than where you are right now. So I'm just talking from experience right now. When we took over the project, we needed $1.7 million. We had 300,000 in the bank. Alhamdulillah, with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we were able to raise $2 million in less than 6 months, finish the project, and hand over to the next team with the 300,000 plus. The reason I'm bringing this up is that I am totally against taking a loan. I know that is your last resort, which I appreciate actually. And Bank of Whittier, I don't know how much work you have done. I'm from a banking sector. I was the head of the bank. They are known to be rip-offs, if you ask me honestly. In the name of Islam, they rip you off. They charge you a lot more fees. And it's a fixed interest rate that you're going to get charged if you take that loan. Because the reason I know that is when I took over the management of this masjid, we had a loan at that time, which alhamdulillah got paid off. But I used to see the statements. And on the statement, clearly it used to state interest. So even though they call themselves Islamic, they charge a fixed rate, which in my mind is not Islamic. I mean, I'm not a scholar, so that is, I leave it to the scholars. If they say it's Islamic, I don't want to get into that discussion. The point that I'm trying to make here is, and I spoke with Brother Saad as well, and I'm sure he must have talked to you. When we took over, we had to plan for a fundraiser. We had almost 3 to 4 months before we could do a fundraiser, and we had no money. Literally, from the time we took over, within a week, I made a payment of 200,000. I was down to 100,000. So we how do we make the next payment? We have no money. So what we did, which I believe you guys can do as well, is we started selling these windows. For 2,800 a window, alhamdulillah, we raised, if I recall, almost 175,000. Then we made the next payment, alhamdulillah. Then we were out of money again, because the fundraiser was in March, April. Then we started selling these stuffs for $100 each. I'm sure you guys remember that. We raised $600,000 just from these, because $100 sounds very little amount anybody can afford. We have 3,000 members in the masjid, alhamdulillah, maybe more. $100 is not a big deal. Even getting the windows, I strongly believe if you run that campaign, inshallah, between now and Ramadan, you should be able to raise good amount of funds. We need to have tawakkul that the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes means to finish the project. And I saw that firsthand. I mean, there were times when I will go and open the box to check the amount, how much money we have, and we will get a blank check for 25,000 from somebody I don't even know. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts it in your heart when you're doing the project, especially when you're finishing the house of Allah. So what I would like to request is, please explore those options, look into that, and your last resort should be trying to get a loan, which I'm totally against, and I'm completely against Bank of Whittier. See if there are other options available. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair, Rizwan bhai. I do want to tell you, Rizwan bhai, we take your advice very seriously. MashaAllah, you have served this masjid for a long time, and you have experience also. And we appreciate the fact, I think it was your Shura's effort that we are in this building today. So we appreciate that, mashallah. We also have to, as I said, be realistic. This is a $11 million project that we are dealing with. So yes, what you are suggesting is definitely in the plan. Selling windows, selling the musallas, There are going to be interior windows. So yes, those chunks are going to come up. Is it going to be enough to fill the gap? Shura is really struggling to come up with the number that's going to help out. Yes, it's going to help. It's going to take some chunk off. Is it going to be enough? Probably not. But that's definitely something in the works. And rest assured that we're not going to go on the path of the loan unless it's absolutely necessary. And we will keep it for as short of a duration as possible so that the masjid is not stuck into debt. I want to share this, that as I said, the masjid, mashallah, raises $1.5 million a year on top of the operations donations that come in. That's pretty consistent. So if we take out a $2 million loan right now and we finish this building in 2024, inshallah, we can pay off the loan in 2025 and 2026. We don't have to keep the loan forever. So if we have to get there, I can promise you it will be an option of last resort, not first resort. You know the people that I'm probably going out to trying to get Qarz Hasana. Just keep making dua that we are able to get that and we don't have to talk about the loan, inshallah. Brother Muhammad Ba in Dubai. Okay. Oh, so he raised hand first. So Brother Ba, you can be next. And then Brother Muhammad, I think you also want to talk. Please, brother.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah. Now, if we get the building weatherized, will that allow us not to rent the tents for Ramadan?
Absolutely, inshallah.
Okay.
That's the whole idea of having that building. That building will have two multi-purpose halls. One on first floor, one on second floor.
He's asking we will get, if it's not completed, can you
Oh. I'm sorry, maybe I did not understand your question.
February 2023 is that building
If we finish
Oh.
winterizing the building in February,
No,
will that allow us to be able to use it during Ramadan and not rent the tents?
In February 2023, you would not be able to use this building. The building is not safe for us to open it right now because there are open areas and kids and anybody can fall through. So the building is not safe to be used right now. That's whenever the building finishes, inshallah. Yeah. I think the weatherproof building means that it's not exposed to the elements outside, but it still is not usable. But it's not going to deteriorate. Once it's become weatherproof, then there is no rain, wind, anything inside, so the inside structure integrity remains good. If you don't make it weatherproof right now and it keeps raining, it's just going to mess up the whole place. So.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I heard you mention about Islamic Bank of Whittier, and I remember we have a relationship with that bank. This masjid had a loan with that bank.
Yes.
When we went to pay the loan off so that we do not pay interest, the manager of the bank created a crisis that they will not allow the masjid to pay off the loan because they wanted us to continue paying interest. Two things. In my view, masjid and banking are incompatible. And whenever our desires exceeds the risk that Allah has, given us at the present time, crisis ensue. If you remember a few years ago, we only had a parking lot. Now we have a big masjid. People are comfortable. I think we need to adjust our desires based on our ability to get funds coming in. If we have a misalignment, shaitan is calling. That's my comment.
First of all, I appreciate the fact that you brought up the early payment thing, and I think this is something we need to keep an eye on, Brother Tamim. If we get to a point where we have to take the loan, we have to make sure that early payment is an option. Otherwise, it's just meaningless. We don't want to pay interest forever on anything. I don't want to use the word interest because it's not really interest. It's a profit. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, we definitely want to make sure we take care of that when we are checking the covenants of the loan.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for an outstanding first year of your leadership. All of you brothers, incredible job to keep the community together, mashallah, great Ramzan, and great participation from within the community, and we saw the results there. Couple of things. Ladies and gentlemen, we just have to be very, very practical about the construction of this masjid. From the time when other presidents were the presidents, economic conditions have changed completely, okay? It's not as easy. We went through a so-called pandemic also in our generation, so the funds dried up. So we went out of that, and now, mashallah, look what you did, right? So things are going to happen. The former Shura worked tirelessly for a year and a half with Bank of Whittier to make sure that what we were going to do and get them approved and have a fatwa. This masjid has a fatwa that makes Bank of Whittier and doing business with them halal, almost said kosher. So the point is, there's varying views. Our goal should be to get this masjid constructed. If the last resort, and if the only resort is to get loan, Sharia compliant with a fatwa, please go for it. Please go for it. And as far as that $894,000 loans that we paid, then I was part of the Shura. I don't know anything about bank raising a stink about adding interest or paying early. Hadi Bhai was the Emir. I was part of the masjid as well, there as well. So I know Brother Ba was there as well, but I just don't remember that part of it. Not contradicting, I may not have been privy to that at all. So
Yeah.
do what is needed, bottom line, to get this thing done.
And I appreciate those comments, but without digging into the history, I think we need to look forward on where we are going with this. And I think one realization that we all need to make as a community is that it's easy to say pause it, but there is a cost to pause the project. And that cost is not just related to the remobilization of the project. Remobilization probably can be done in $150,000, $170,000. That's still a big chunk of money. But on top of that, every 2 or 3 months, the cost of construction keeps going up. This year, when we took the quotes on things, those same things are 38% more expensive now. And the economy is not getting any better. The inflation is still very, very high. So things keep getting expensive. So on one hand, it may seem like taking loan is going to cost us the masjid. I can tell you it's going to cost masjid a lot more if the project goes on a pause and the cost of construction goes up. So it is imperative that we keep this project on track. So Shura is going to do everything possible between now and February to try all of these things. And eventually, if the other 3 things do not work, then loan is where we will end up. But we cannot afford to stop this project in February. That's the reality of the situation. Yeah, I want to reiterate again. Loan needs co-signers, $333,000 each. If tonight we have people in this gathering that Allah has blessed them, you can come in the lobby, I will be there, you can talk to me privately about this, I can give you more information. We need help. I know I'm staying between all of you and the dinner. It's 9:15, so let's try to quickly wrap up the question and answers in the next 5 minutes.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have fantastic news, guys. Very good news. First of all, let me remind all of us, ayah from Surah Al-Baqarah, and if somebody have here, if I made a mistake, please forgive me. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم مثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله كمثل سنبلة أنبتت 7 سنابل في كل سنبلة 100 حبة والله يضاعف لمن يشاء والله واسع عليم. I'm not sheikh, I'm not حافظ. So I do fundraiser, not for living, but as a volunteer. This year, it's my 56th, we just closed a few years ago. I have fantastic news, I'm glad. First of all, I want to thank all the Shura members, from Sheikh, Rizwan, Adil, Kashif, you and everybody else. You're doing a fantastic job. The 1.6 million that this measure raise every year, if you divide by 3,000 people, it's $1 a day. $1 a day. You tell me all the cars outside that all of us cannot do $5 every day, it's impossible. I cannot believe it. First of all, we are not doing any favor to Allah. We are doing our favor to ourselves. Allah is ghani and we are fuqara. If any penny you do as you are alive, you're doing favor to yourself. I think if we have 3,000 people, $5 a day, 5.5 million a year. And your project or our project will not stop in February بإذن الله تعالى. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
جزاك الله خير. Any questions from the sisters' side? Sorry, Sister Sabah.
If you're trying to cut expenses, then why are we having iftar in Ramadan? Why are we this one time as a community? Why can we not have iftar?
Okay.
Cut those expenses and utilize them towards this. I'd much rather have a community center that is built versus having tents outside and eating food.
So the question from the sister is that if we are cutting on expenses, then why do we have this huge iftars in Ramadan? And why do we put up a tent? So I want to put things in perspective first of all. And Shura discussed this just last week, that why do we have these iftars in Ramadan? One of the biggest things in Ramadan is, see, donation, each item has its own bucket in people's mind. When people are donating for iftars, and that's how it happens, right? People donate and we arrange iftars. In that month, they want to get the ajr of feeding people. That's what they want to do. If you're not going to have that iftar, they will donate for feeding the people somewhere else, but they will still donate. That money is not going to come to construction. When people are donating, and if they want to donate for construction, they would still donate for construction. So that's not the kind of cost cutting that is really going to work and contribute towards your construction project. Also keep the number in perspective. Your 4 iftars cost you $60,000. In the bigger scheme of things, that's not a whole lot, but the sense of community that the iftar brings into the masjid is really meaningful, and that actually motivates people to donate towards construction. They will come here, they will see the building, and they will be motivated to finish this building and give towards the cause more. So that, and then the tent itself is not very expensive. I think in people's mind, they feel like it's $25,000, $30,000. Last year, the tent for the whole month was $8,000. So it's not a whole lot of money, really, not a big chunk of money. Sister Sabah, does that answer your question? I guess so. Brother Kamran.
I don't have anything. I'm just trying to clarify. Are you trying to say that everybody... Mike, I don't want to keep everybody from dinner. If you just told us at the start of the presentation that we have 2,500, give or take, registered members of the ICF, correct?
I was talking about the registered voters for the United States election.
How many members do we have in the masjid?
Noman, what is the current number of registered members? 1331.
That's it. We
The
only have
registered
13.
members, yeah. I'm sure we are a lot more, but people don't register to become members. One of the reasons that Brother Noman was here tonight, to encourage people to become members so we know what is our true strength. If you look at the Friday Salah, I think we serve about more than 2,500 people here.
Exactly. So
But they are not all members.
I remember an old lecture from Ahmad Didat where he said that if each member of this community donated like $10 a month or even $100 a month, you would have your $3 million. That's what Brother was saying right now, right? Yeah. Why can't we have a membership fee? Is there any adverse reason why we don't have a particular admin fee? $50 for families or $10 per individual. You will raise enough per month, and within 12 months you will have enough, whereas I personally abhor loans. I absolutely hate loans. I've taken loans out from Islamic banks, and you still get a 1099 INT, and I was just totally surprised, and we had to kill the loan later. I didn't know that. So Islamic loans don't work out, and there is no barakah in it. So that's just my 2 cents worth. And if it means that we stay within our means and not take the loan and delay the project, albeit costs go up, I personally feel that there'll be more barakah in our masjid if we stay away from interest. It's literally war. So that's all I had to say.
It's a long discussion to have whether to have a membership fee or not. I can tell you, we discussed it when I was in Shura in 2018, 2019. I'm sure Kashif Bhai's Shura has talked, every Shura talks about it. It's a tightrope to walk on. Because people, you put a membership fees on, people say, okay, I'm paying membership. Now you are asking me money for Quran Academy. Now you are asking fee for Safa Seminary. Now you want fee for attending the programs. So it's a discussion that Shuras keep having, but now that you have brought up, we can have the discussion again, inshallah. So I'm just going to conclude this meeting now. Jazakallah khair for patiently listening for an hour and 22 minutes almost. And I hope you got a good picture of where we stand, and especially in terms of the construction. Parting words again, this project needs your support. If Allah has blessed any one of you or your friends with the means to co-sign the loan for $400,000 or $350,000, please reach out to me directly. Most of you have my number. If not, for the cameras, I can record it, 469-682-9596. The community will really appreciate your help for stepping forward for this project. Jazakumullahu khairan.